Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is a screencast about revising your letter about literature. You'll be watching this screencast after you've finished collecting, drafting, beginning your mentor text, and watch the other screencast about revising. This is a strategy that you can use to avoid summarizing and synthesizing instead. Okay, so when you think about your letter to an author, it may seem really awkward. After all, the author knows nothing about you, and they wrote a book that inspired you. You may be at first tempted to prove to the author that you read their book, okay, by summarizing what happened. But think about it. The author already wrote the book. He already knows what the book is about, okay? They don't want to know everything that's happened in the book, but they want to know what parts of the book really affected you as a reader, okay? So this lesson is going to cover how to summarize, how not to summarize too much, and synthesize instead. This lesson is again taken from the Letters About Literature contest from the Library of Congress. Here are two excerpts from letters. Okay, the link here will take you right to this section where this lesson plan come from if you'd rather view that instead of listening to the podcast, or the screencast, I should say. So there's two passages here, passage A and passage B. We're going to take a look at these passages to try to figure out which one does a better job of synthesizing, so only saying the little snippets of the text that matter, and one that summarizes, which means they try and tell the whole story. And we're going to take a look at how they weave that in. So I'm going to read to you passage A and passage B, and I want you to think, what passage would the author find more interesting to read? Passage A. Two scientists discovered Charlie in a high school reading class. They decided he was an ideal candidate for a new operation they had been trying on a lab mouse they called Algeron. The operation had greatly improved the intelligence of the mouse, and the scientists believed there was a good chance that the operation would raise Charlie's intelligence, too. It's passage A. So we're continuing to think, what passage, A or B, would the author, the person you're writing to, find more interesting? Passage B. In your book, Charlie works in a bakery with uneducated workers who show no sympathy for his condition. They laugh and snicker at Charlie. At times I've been made fun of, and it hurts to the point where I want to strike out. Charlie laughed at those who mocked him. He thought they were his friends. Unlike Charlie, however, I have the ability to realize the difference between good-natured teasing and mocking. So I want you to think. To summarize means you recall all the details. To synthesize means to combine one or more ideas together in a presentation. Which passage do you think does a better job of synthesizing and would be more interesting for the author to read? Pause this video if you need to reread them. Let's take a closer look. Passage A does a much better job if it's just asked to summarize all the main events or details in a story. Passage B, however, is stronger at synthesizing because it takes one or two ideas, puts them together, and incorporates some interesting information. Let's look closer at passage B. I've rewritten this passage here. You can see that the black writing, that writing is stuff right from the text. That's details right from the text. And the stuff in pink, that's where the author of this letter wove in some of his personal thoughts. Okay. You can see that it's a fine balance of synthesizing a few key points about a text and then weaving in your own reflections, reactions, realizations, and insights into this letter. So it might be helpful for you right now to pause this video, reread this paragraph here and see how the author used a balance of story details and their own reflections to come up with their message to the author. And then I would say it'd be helpful for you right now to take a look at your draft and highlight those places in pink where you've incorporated some of your own reflections, realizations, and insights. And then look at those places around your highlighted areas in pink and think, did I do a good job synthesizing and not summarizing? Did I synthesize just a few events and then added my own reflection? Best of luck, and if you want to continue, The lesson plan link is right here. Just click it, it'll take you right that way. Best of luck as you continue to revise your letter about literature.